This is a first-year female. Paired her up actually pretty late in the season. And because I noticed that she was ovulating, I'm like, you know what? I thought she may have been, I thought she was big enough to breed. Didn't absolutely think, it was necessary, but I was like, you know what? I saw that she's ovulating. Why not give her a try? And she produced, it looks like, 5 beautiful, healthy looking eggs here. So, and let me see here. Yeah, looks like it was just a couple hours ago. I think she's completely all done here. I just set up an egg box. So, yeah, in a second here, I will take those out. We'll candle them up real quick, and we'll get them in the incubator. So we're placing these eggs, and I've already separated some of the clutch. But I thought I would show you guys. I know it's a little intimidating as first time, breeders and stuff. When you've got a clutch you haven't caught before they start to stick together, to tear them apart. And the best way that I can kind of show you is that the best way to do it is to start from the end and just slowly, and you can see that crease there. The eggs are much more durable than we give them credit for. But again, I wouldn't rip them apart. But you can slowly see them starting to, there we go, unstick. Boom. And then again, you want to make sure that you place them as they were. Okay. Now a lot of times people will go ahead and mark them with a permanent marker. But since this is a fairly small clutch and not too super difficult, yes, that's my big Burmese python there, that it was much easier to get these detached than what I previously thought. And we'll go through and we can get and candle these just to show you guys what those embryos look like. Alright, so we'll start with this guy here. This one I could have sworn was a slug when I saw it, just because of the shape. Typically you see how all the others are fairly straight. This one's got a little bend to it, but that's not super uncommon. Alright, I'll have to maybe flip to the side a little bit. See if we can see anything. So I do see, let me see if I can see it. There's a little blemish here, some red spots here that make me believe this could be fertile. But again, we'll keep it in there. We'll keep it in there for just in case. Alright, now let's see this guy here. Oh, right there. Right at the back end here. See if I can play with the light a little bit, because I know it's kind of... But you can see that red vein and that kind of red splotch right there. That's a good healthy egg. Now this one's more on the side, so you see more towards the bottom. There we go. So we're going to go to the bottom left. This one's right there. That's where the embryo is on this guy. And it's the same with this one too. Embryo's right here. And then this guy's right up on top here. Beautiful clutch of eggs from that girl. Awesome. Now with the vermiculite, all I did was I put a little bit of water on it, mix it together, and the best way that I can tell you to produce a good substrate is that you want to squeeze it so all the water goes out. You shouldn't be able to squeeze much water out of the vermiculite, and it's got to be able to pack like a snowball. Okay, so that's the best way that I could really say. And I normally just give it just enough so that I can, kind of, push the eggs down just a tiny bit so they've got a little bit of they can indent a little bit in there so they don't roll and things like that. So awesome. So we'll mark the tub, and in around 55-60 days we shall see some little black heads popping out of those eggs. This is my other females in closure. This is the girl I've been breeding for several years at this point. You can see that she has been in and out of her nest box here. I actually might add a little bit more sphagnum moss. I go back and forth and see she's clumped it up in here because she's been kind of circling around in here. But I might add just a little bit more sphagnum moss just so I can get a little bit more surface area here, so that when the eggs are laid and say I'm at work or it happens in the middle of the night like tonight, and I don't get up, I just don't want the eggs to dry out. That's not too big of an issue, but at the same time, again, you never want there to be any of that factor, especially dealing with eggs that you really want to see to hatch. So, but yeah, so I like sphagnum moss. A lot of people use vermiculite within their nesting boxes so that they could throw them right into the incubator. I'm not really a big fan of that because sanitation wise, again, prior to those eggs being born, the female could go to the bathroom in there, just different things. So again, it's not going to be as sterile as an environment as you want. And during that incubation stuff, again, it's hot, humid, you'll produce mold and stuff like that. So I try to use a substrate I'm not going to necessarily use when I incubate the eggs. So other people use like coconut fiber, coconut core, but honestly, I think that stuff kind of tends to dry out a little bit faster. So this stuff stays nice and humid. So cool. She's trying to get out here. But yeah. And you can see too how plump she is. She's getting ready to go here very, very soon. She's very, very thick. You can kind of feel those eggs in her too. Last year she laid a clutch for me, about 12 eggs, which was phenomenal. And then she double clutched a solid 6 egg clutch. So again, she's been a very I guess profitable snake, but she produces very, very well. She loves to eat. What's crazy about this animal is she does have cataracts in her eyes. I noticed this after 2 years of keeping her. She was about 3 years of age when I got her from an individual at a local swap here. But yeah, she's just got some cataracts in her eyes. And what's crazy is she actually did eat last week. She is one of those snakes that will eat up until the day she lays, which is crazy. But see how she's kind of digging around in that sphagnum there? She really likes that. But it's also very amazing how intuitive these animals are. For obviously not having parents or anything to show them, they just know, what's best for their eggs, what they need to survive and thrive. So cool. Yeah, so this year will be my, maybe 6th or 7th year producing Mexican black king snakes. I remember when these animals were selling for $40. I couldn't sell these things for $40. Yeah, it seems like overnight, the 2017, 2018, 2019 seasons, these things have just been absolutely blowing up, and for good reason. I mean, they're such an amazing snake. I got this animal because I think for everyone else's reason, why wouldn't you want an all black snake? I mean, they're so cool. The beautiful iridescence, the shine of these animal scales. Yeah, so now you do have to be careful. There are people out there that will hybridize these animals, and I've seen a couple collections, some very popular collections that have these hybridized animals that are selling them as pure Mexican black king snakes. And I think that's kind of dishonest. People are expecting an all black animal. You can see she's got no markings whatsoever. Neither does the sire of this clutch. And with these creatures, it is said that they do naturally hybridize in some of their northern regions, and with the desert king snakes. And it is very, very clear that there are individuals out there that are selling Mexican black king snakes. They're calling them pure Mexican black king snakes that have been hybridized with those desert kings. So people are going to get babies. Now, babies tend to have a little bit of faded banding, and as they grow older, a lot of that banding tends to fade away. But on my babies, they are pretty much black through and through. There's no speckling, no spotting, no nothing. So you just do your research when you see these animals, and if you see a little more marking than usual, I'd be pretty pressed to say that that's a hybrid, and you're not going to get an all black snake. A lot of people are disappointed when they get these animals, and they're not completely 100% black, and that's just due because, again, these things became so popular, and they're like, hey, how can we get these animals quicker and cheaper? And a lot of these hybrids people weren't selling for full price, and they bought up those animals and basically claimed, hey, these are technically Mexican black king snakes. They are a natural hybrid, and some even say that the Mexican black king snake is a derivative of line breeding of generations and generations of desert king snakes, line breeding each other and to having no pattern. But yeah, I think people's preference when they get this animal is they don't want any markings, and I don't blame them, because again, you're paying for an all black snake, and right now they're a fairly decent price, to where, you know, again, any markings or anything outside of your desired, you know, want, that I think you'd be pretty upset. So yeah, no markings at all on her. Oops, sorry, girl. She's very calm, very inquisitive. She's kind of antsy right now. She's got that, you know, she's normally a very active snake, but you can tell she's kind of pacing. I think she's just kind of getting ready to go into labor here. Hopefully within the next 24 to 48 hours she'll lay, because she just looks so uncomfortable. She looks very, very plump. But very cool. Yeah, so hopefully in the next 24 48 hours we'll get another clutch, and yeah, it'll be an exciting season. Hopefully we'll get a good double clutch from her. Hope we don't, I don't know, I don't necessarily think we'll get another double clutch from our first girl of the season, but again, I think she may be a little too young. I don't want to push her too hard. But awesome. Alright, we'll cover this up. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll get those eggs in the incubator. And here, I'll put her back in here. Put her back in here. We'll get those eggs in the incubator, mark the date, and hopefully we'll be seeing babies very, very soon.